Hey everybody, it's Wisp. I'm here talking about Choose Your Legends 7. I've said a few times on my channel that CYL is basically a holiday season for me, and I wanted to be the first one out with a CYL video. So I actually had one recorded talking about like odds of winning, how I was going to track Twitter and all that stuff, and it was scheduled to be published on the 15th. Um, but then they started CYL randomly, so I couldn't get my preliminary stuff out before. So I was like, okay, we'll just wait for midterms. Um, I'm not rallying anybody. I'm not asking anyone to vote for anyone. So I mean, family. That's one thing. But the for the most part, like I'm not using this as a platform to try to get votes for any character. So for that reason, I didn't make a video after CYL had already come out, just because I was excited for midterms instead. Next year, I'm going to be more on top of it. CYL can start early, so now I'm ready. I'll do it earlier, like beginning of January. So all that aside, sorry, all of that aside, the point is now we're here. Um, we're at the midterms, and again, they confused us a little bit because for the first time ever, midterms don't actually say who is winning or who's in first place, second place, etc. And there's good and bad to that, right? Because we can't rally against somebody winning. Fans of a character who have been who's in second place, there have been rallies historically to get that character out of second place, and I've always felt like rallying for somebody you love is one thing, but rallying against a character, voting someone in just so that somebody else doesn't win, has never sat well. It doesn't sit very well with me. This time, that can't happen. We don't know who's actually in first and second place, and since I've been looking at Twitter and trying to see what's coming out, the thing about using Twitter data is it's not perfect. It doesn't. Whoever's getting first place in Twitter might not be getting first place overall, but it gave us enough of an idea that I already knew who the top 20 was for the most part. I knew I know about like who the top like 5 might be, right? And I'll get into that. But none of this is concrete, none of this is new. We don't know who's in first place or second, and it's exciting, it's interesting. But the other thing I'm wondering about is if you've been involved in CYL before, you might remember that we usually get our results around February 1st. Um, this time, maybe that will happen. That will be a little bit after Engage comes out. The big reason CYL was moved early, it seems, is so that they can really push advertising for Fire Emblem Engage on the last week before it comes out. CYL will be out of the way. When CYL happens, everyone's talking about it nonstop because it's, again, an amazing event. So I think this way the results or the polling is going to be done. The results are going to be about 10 days after the game comes out. So there's not as much of a push. They won't be conflicting marketing that versus marketing heroes. It's also possible to get the results early this year. I mean, they're doing a lot of things differently. We aren't getting first or second place for the first time. This is our seventh CYL, and we've never seen it without the results in the midterms. Anyway, I wanted to just finally get into those actual results and talk about them. I know they've been on my screen for a little while now. Here they are. No particular order. This is listed alphabetically, so being at the top doesn't mean anything. But our top 20: Alphonse, Ash, Black Knight, Byleth, Corin, Felix, Ferdinand, Itsuki and Krom, Leaf, Leo, Leon, Reinhardt, Male Robin, Male Shez, Sigurd, Soren, Sylvain, Takumi, Toma and Kane, and Yuri. This is on the men's side. So those are the 20 people who we're going to see on the big poster when the results get announced. Um, Two of them will actually get alts. It's very unrealistic, unfortunately, that anyone who's not already listed here will actually win. It's possible, technically speaking, but if you're voting to win, you should probably not vote for someone who's not listed here. If if you're voting because you love a character, which is a great reason to vote, it's one of my things. Like, vote for who you love, right? Because the more votes someone gets, the more likely they are maybe to get an alt in the next year or so. So this tells IS not necessarily this needs to be the brave hero, but also this is a character that has a following, has a fan base. This is somebody that we love. So just because your character's not here doesn't mean you have to give up on them. But if your goal was to win the competition, then we'll talk about if people have a real shot at that. And getting into that, Alphonse has been in the top 10 before, so technically he has pretty high odds. Now, he's not doing the best on Twitter. There are a few people above him, but that doesn't mean everything, right? Tiki, before the midterm results in CYL 1, or in CYL 6, sorry, wasn't the highest person either. Twitter doesn't tell us who's literally first place, second place, and so on, but it tells us basically if you're not in like the top 5 or top 10 in Twitter, there's a lower chance of you winning. It tells us a small fraction of the story, and that story gets polluted a little bit by other things coming in. For example, the audience that uses Twitter, I use it, but that doesn't mean everyone playing Fae uses it. Not everyone playing will actually tweet who their votes are and try to rally support online. So enough goes on that, in my opinion, all we need to know is if they're getting a lot of support on Twitter or almost none. That's all that we can really see. If I'm being honest, the first 3, Alphonse, Ash, and Black Knight, are probably not winning. Them being high tells us like we want an alt for them, and hopefully we get like Ash in the game without being in a seasonal uniform. Black Knight got an alt already in December and is still placing the top 20, so he's probably someone people want to win, but his crowd, though large enough to get him to the top 20, might not be able to break him into first place. I see very little support for him online. My computer's overheating a little bit, which is making this awkward. Male Byleth. Male Byleth has a tremendous amount of support, actually more than anybody else on Twitter specifically. I don't think he's in first place. I think that one of the big reasons he has so much support is Female Byleth won last year, and people kind of want the avatars to be even. Somewhere deep down, people want, if one gets an alt, the other does too. If one gets a legendary.
My mom never came home from her trip. There's gotta be a way to find her. What about security footage? I'm not giving up on my mom.
You're going through her boyfriend's email?
He's a felon?
Someone's hiding something.
I'm running out of time. Where is she?
Missing. Reading page 13.
That was terrifying. Sorry, I keep cutting things because my computer is starting to really overheat, but Male Byleth, like I said, most support on Twitter, but a lot of that, I think, is people that kind of want avatars to be relatively even, as well as him getting that seasonal alt. I think a lot of people are scared that that's going to cost him the win. Truth is, I don't think he was going to win in the first place. The competition was too hot. But he's doing well. He could be third place, fourth place. He's going to be up really high for the men's division. I just personally don't see him winning this year. Next year will probably be an engaged sweep, and then following that, I think his odds are going to get pretty good. Male Corin was pretty low in the top 20, but in the top 20 last year, and I expect that things are going to be pretty similar for him. Felix, I see winning. Definitely think he's going to be first or second place. He was already third place, and then his following has only increased since then, and he managed to go the full year after being third place without getting an alt. Despite the fact that they're now releasing 3 Hopes seasonal alts, he didn't get one of those. We got a 3 Hopes Ascendant with Hilda, and Felix didn't get one of those. We only got one banner, but still, the point is he keeps getting skipped over and missed despite his popularity, which is actually confusing to me, but here we are. Ferdinand being the top 20 is nice, but I'm not going to win. Itsuki and Krom is part of a big TMS push. They've been in the game for years now, have had one banner and no seasonals, and they've gotten no love since then. It's a weird spot where they're part of the game, but they're treated like they aren't. So I I think they're going to get more in the future. I think that IS wants them to get like one more banner, so they're spacing it out. I don't know if they're going to get seasonals anytime soon because, for the most part, it's a spin off game that didn't sell amazingly. So their seasonals won't sell that amazingly. But they are there's like 5 more characters. Basically, one more banner can fit them all in it. So I think they're going to finish off. I just don't think that they're going to get a bunch of seasonals. Winning COAL could happen, but the problem is their fans are actually kind of going into so many different characters because the point isn't to win, it's to get as many characters in the top 20 as they can, I think. And for that reason, I think they're going to have a really hard time winning, but that's not necessarily their goal. They win, the TMS fans all win if there's a TMS seasonal or a duo hero or like anything that comes for them. Leaf is not brand new to the top 20, but it's been a while since he's been here. Um, Eventually, I think he can win. I think that he got a big boost from the Salif fans. I'm sure Sigurd did as well, but I think that Salif fans probably split between the two. Leo, Leon, and Reinhardt are consistently popular characters, so that's good for them, but I don't think they're going to win. Robin, male, is not doing amazing on Twitter, but I think it's deceiving. It's also possible that people are pushing for female Robin this year. Not necessarily as like an organized effort, but it kind of just shook out that way, maybe. It's possible Robin wins. I think he's going to be top 4 for men. I don't know if he's going to win. I think that Felix is a lock, and then it's kind of between Soren and Robin for 2nd and 3rd, with Byleth being 4th. Shez, I'm really happy made it to the top 20. Damien Haas does an amazing job voicing him. Is a great guy. I personally prefer female Shez, but both of the actors are really talented. I just like how she interacts with Dimitri, and I use male Byleth, so kind of the opposite sort of thing is just a little bit cooler to me than if they were both guys. But he's got a cool design. He's got a great following, and like I said, Damien Haas does an amazing job. So if male Shez were to win, I would definitely want to pick up that Brave Alt, but I don't think he's going to. I'm just happy that he's being acknowledged as an official character. He's votable, unlike Rowan and Liana. He's actually votable, which is nice, unlike the other Warriors characters, the Warriors 1 characters. So he's officially part of the Fire Emblem universe, and specifically Three Hopes is part of like the Volan canon, just an alternate timeline canon. So I'm glad he's here. Sigurd, I really thought was going to be a top 4 contender. Still think he's going to be top 8, maybe not even 5th though. He's really performing very poorly on mine from everything I can see. I think most Salif fans went over to Leaf, but not all Salif fans did, which means Leaf isn't gonna like magically win. Leaf isn't gonna win like Salif did, and Sigurd isn't gonna win like Salif did because the Salif fans went in different directions. Soren has a huge boost, and most of his fans are in America. Americans tend to tweet less about who they're voting for than the Japanese fans do, so the fact that most of his following is American either means he's just bigger in America, or there are a lot more fans. Basically, if 1 in 5, I believe, Japanese fans tweets, then it's closer to like 1 in 8 or 1 in 9 American fans. I crunched those numbers a while ago, so I don't have them off the top of my head. But the idea there is Soren having more American support could imply he has a lot more overall support. It's also, though, possible that he's just popular here, and maybe American fans aren't tweeting about Leo as much, but they're going to tweet about Soren at twice a higher rate. So now an American vote for Soren's worth 4.5. It's really not perfect math just looking online. We have to wait till we get the numbers. Either way, just from the amount of support he has online, he's definitely placing very high. Sylvain has a lot of support, but I don't see him winning until Felix wins. Takumi, Toma and Kane and Yuri are all there as love letters that people do love the character. We need alts for them or to add them to the game, but I don't see them winning. Maybe ever. Maybe Takumi has kind of a shot if he never gets ults and then people rally him like crazy. Yuri has a shot in a similar reason, especially because his adult outfit isn't in the game yet. He's got 2 different adult outfits now that Three Hopes is out. Um, Not having the top 20 listed in order, though, doesn't help us much because I can't say, oh, Felix is first place. Let me move my votes to my second favorite character. I'm not voting for Felix, by the way. That was an example. I also can't say, oh, Robin and Soren are in second and third. I'm going to vote for my favorite, right? You want to vote for whoever's in second to keep him in second, or whoever's in third to push them into second. But now we can't do that. So, what does this really tell us? Actually, my theory here is all they're doing is really solidifying a Felix win, which sounds weird. But if you're a Felix voter and you're like, you know what, I voted for Felix 3 times, I don't need to vote for him anymore. But maybe you personally like the Three Hopes design more, and this tells us that the Three Houses War Arc design is winning. Then all that this shows you is you need to vote for Felix because you need to vote for the design you prefer, right? So maybe you were going to stop voting for Felix, but now you have to put your last 4 votes into him to try to switch up which design they pick. Honestly, like I don't think there will be a big number of people doing that, but the only thing that this tells us is which Three Houses design is winning. It tells us we prefer Three Houses War Arc Sylvain and Three Houses War Arc Ferdinand. The most disappointing thing about CYL this year is that Byleth is not able to be Byleth Enlightened One. Byleth Enlightened One was in CYL 4, 5, and 6, and for the male side, won all 3 times. Not CYL as a whole, but he outperformed male Byleth early game. So basically, when Byleth fuses with Sothis, and his hair turns light green, that's the design that people preferred 3 years in a row. This year, we can't vote for that, which is really disappointing to me. They did say if he manages to win, then his hair color will be decided at a later date. I don't know if that'll be a binary vote, like dark green or light green. But I think part of it is due to the controversy where female Byleth won with her early design, but neither hair color, neither the early nor the late game hair color won. They used Sothis Regalia with the Sothis hair color. So it's like, okay, well, clearly this is neither. However, what the only thing that accomplished was making it so that we couldn't tell where she was, except Sothis is confirmed to be fused with Byleth. Byleth mentions that she used to have someone living in her head, and she fused with that person. So that's where the design comes from. Like that's where the inspiration for the outfit came from. So basically, they just picked the Byleth they wanted anyway. Anyway, that's not to diss on brave female Byleth. The point is just that they let us pick which hair color and then picked the one that didn't win the vote. So, well, they picked neither hair color and then they picked the Byleth that didn't win the vote. So it was just weird. They skirted that problem with male Byleth. You can only vote for the regular, like, basic hair color now. Which is actually why I didn't vote for him. I actually really prefer Enlightened One. But if he wins, I'll just, if I can vote, then I'll vote. We don't know what'll happen. All right, female side has a lot going on, right? Not really. We kind of knew exactly who they were too, but Anna has big rally potential. Has been in 3rd place before. She's someone I see benefiting from this because now all the Anna fans that are like, I just want Anna to win. You have no illusion. It's Awakening Anna. You should have already known it would be Awakening Anna because she's the only one that's ever been in the top 10. And she's been 3rd place before. Awakening Anna's who's going to get the votes. So if you're voting for Anna, just blanket statement Anna, it's got to be Awakening. She's the only one that's ever going to win. But if you're voting for an Anna because you specifically love that specific Anna, then go for it, obviously. Azura, probably not going to win, but one of my... It's just a character I really like, so I'm happy that she's top 20. Bernie actually has the most Twitter support right now as far as the female division goes. So I could see her winning for sure. She a top 20 mainstay. She's always going to be top 20, never going to win. Maybe if we get another remake of any of the first games, but until then, chances aren't high. Female Corrin has a lot of Twitter support, but it's kind of slowly dying off. I think people were early on voting for her, but trying to stop. Female Corrin would win in a heartbeat if Azura fans and Corrin fans could make an agreement. First female Corrin, then Azura, then male Corrin or something. But that never works, right? Like, people always try to do that, but like, well, then vote for my character first. And like, Corrin might have more pull because female Corrin specifically is always up in the top. But people aren't going to trust that they'll come around, and that's fair because we've seen people make deals and not come around. So, I mean, anyway, Dorothea, Alencia, both characters that you always expect to be top 20 are probably not winning until certain characters get through. Alencia has a better chance if there's a remake or a remaster of Path of Radiance, and if Soren's gone, because then if people specifically want Tellius love, they'll have to go to her and Black Knight. Freya and Gulveg, heroes OCs that people love, main villains. Kind of just Gulveg's kind of just winning for her design, which is okay. People can vote for whatever they want, for whoever they want, why they want, you know. Hilda, I thought she was going to win a long time ago because I kind of thought that the Golden Deer fans were going to be coordinated. Lysithea, Marianne, Hilda, like just jump character to character to get all 8 students in. Because they have the power. They could have gotten Claude and Lysithea and then gone to Marianne, Hilda, and just one by one pulled them. But they didn't do that. So yeah, I don't think she's going to win this one. Maybe eventually she will win OCYL, but I think she's kind of going to be top 10 for the next like several years. Ingrid, top 20 mainstay. Lena, Mia, Nino, Petra, straight up top 20 mainstays. Same for Sharina and Tharja. Tsubasa, it's the same situation that we touched on. So really, Shez and Robin are the interesting ones. Female Shez, again, Dawn Bennett. Amazing job voicing Shez. I use female Shez. I've actually given some support to female Shez. I voted for her once. And female Robin is a very good contender for the women's division. It's really between Corrin, Bernadetta, and female Robin. So what I would say is vote for your favorites. But if out of like Corrin, Bernadetta, and female Robin, you have a specific character you prefer voting for, then, or you have a specific character that you're like, I want this one to get a Brave. It's a really tight race between those 3. It's most likely going to be 2 out of the 3 I've said. So if any of those 3 is someone you care about a lot, I would consider jumping ship to them. For me, I'm going to just keep voting for whichever character comes to mind. For the men's division, similar story. If you really like Felix or male Robin or Soren, I would consider voting for them over whoever you're voting for, because next year it's not very likely that next year it's not likely anyone outside of Engage wins. So if you want Robin to win, you can't really think like, oh, he'll do it next year, because there's a good chance that he won't if he's not Engaged. Same goes for Felix. Several of these characters. If you're a Byleth fan, if you're a really big fan of male Byleth, I think he's still got a shot. My guess is 4th place, but it doesn't say that. He could be 3rd. He could even be 2nd right now, 1st, whatever. I'm guessing 4th, but honestly, we've seen situations where a character that was in like 5th place rose up to 2nd. So if you're a big male Byleth fan, then keep pushing for support, especially because since he did get the ult, I think that hurts him more than Soren, because male Byleth versus Soren, right? Male Byleth was the silhouette, so on day 2, people knew going in that he was going to get an ult. On day 3, he was in the trailer. Soren, maybe he lost some support on day 3, but honestly, on going on now, we still haven't even seen his official artwork, so if you're not like paying attention, you might not even know he's getting an ult, and you might be voting for him. Now, if you look online, the fact that they're getting ults didn't hurt them at all. But remember, we're talking to the scale of thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of votes. A lot of those people are not online, and they're just being like casual fans. So that's why sometimes what we see online doesn't match up to what we actually get. But yeah, these are what's going on with our interim results. Next year, I'll do better about making those CYL videos, because again, it's a holiday to me. I can guarantee you that I'm not going to be sated with this. I'm not stopping here, because I just love doing these videos. So I'll probably be releasing like 3 or 4 CYL videos a year at inappropriate times, right? But like, there's a lot to talk about with it. Even when it's not voting season, there's stuff going on that you can think like, oh wait, how is this going to affect it? And I love talking about Choose Your Legends even when it's not Choose Your Legends voting season. So Probably gonna do a few more of these, but that's all I've got for now. Sorry to deviate from the last couple weeks before Engage comes out. I wanted to stay on that track, but I just really had to get this out there. So thank you, everybody, and until next time.